Hi everyone, and welcome to our Business Management Unit 5. We're talking about human resources, HR, HRM, human resources management. In this lesson, 5.15, we're talking about HR equity and diversity. So the objectives for this lesson are to critically assess and differentiate between common misconceptions and factual concepts regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace, and to articulate the essential role of HR in fostering equity and diversity in the workplace. So human resources plays a crucial role in cultivating an organizational culture that values diversity, practices equity, and ensures inclusion. This is DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And by integrating DEI principles into all aspects of business operations, HR can help build a more innovative, competitive, and resilient organization. So the goals of DEI are to create number one is to create a diverse workforce. This is where you assemble teams that reflect the rich diversity of the global marketplace, including varied backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences. Number two is to ensure equity in opportunities and treatment and guarantee that all employees have equal access to opportunities for growth and advancement and are treated fairly regardless of their background. Third is to promote an inclusive culture. This is where you cultivate an environment where every employee feels valued, they feel included, and empowered to contribute to their fullest potential. And number four is to enhance reputation and performance. If you leverage DEI as a key driver for improving organizational reputation, employee satisfaction, and financial performance, this can all lead to that. So there are some strategies when it comes to DEI. Number one is inclusive recruitment. You've got to utilize diverse job boards and recruitment channels. Implement blind hiring practices to minimize unconscious bias, and standardize interview questions and use diverse interview panels. Next is comprehensive DEI training. You've got to provide mandatory DEI training for all employees, including information about something called unconscious bias, cultural competency, and inclusive communication. And then, of course, offer specialized training for management and HR professionals when it comes to DEI. Next is equitable policies and practices. Take the time to review and revise your HR policies and practices to ensure that they promote equity, such as pay equity audits and flexible work arrangements, and establish clear criteria for promotions and advancements to avoid bias. You can also have employee resource groups, or ERGs. You need to support the formation and operation of these ERGs so that they reflect diverse identities and experiences, and encourage executive sponsorship and involvement in ERGs to demonstrate top-level commitment. Performance and metrics and accountability. Set measurable DEI goals and integrate them into corporate performance metrics, and of course hold leaders and managers accountable for achieving those DEI objectives through performance evaluations and reward systems. Communication and community engagement is key. When you regularly communicate those DEI goals, those initiatives, and progress to all stakeholders and foster an open environment, and of course engage with local communities and minority-owned businesses, and participate in initiatives and partnerships that promote social justice and equity. Now, there are some challenges to DEI. The biggest one is probably resistance to change, where employees or leadership may resist those DEI efforts due to a lack of understanding, fear of change, or they've got entrenched biases. And when there's this resistance to change, it can hinder the DEI initiatives, creating a hostile environment for marginalized groups and stalling the progress. Next is unconscious bias. Now, and this can affect hiring, promotion, and everyday workplace interactions, often without individuals even being aware. And it leads to unequal opportunities and can undermine the organization's commitment to equity and inclusion. Lack of resources. Implementing effective DEI programs require time, they require money and effort, which can be scarce in organizations with limited resources. Because without those adequate resources, those DEI initiatives may lack depth and sustainability, or they may fail to meet their objectives. Another one is measuring success. Quantifying the success of DEI initiatives is complex, as many aspects of inclusion and equity are qualitative and nuanced. They can be difficult to measure those successes, can lead to unclear objectives, lack of accountability, and questioning of the DEI's value. There can also be a one-size-fits-all approach, where you assume that DEI initiatives suitable for one context will work within another. That can lead to ineffective strategies. And this approach can alienate employees, exacerbate existing issues, and fail to address the unique organizational needs. Finally, is sustainability and commitment. Maintaining long-term commitment to DEI amidst changes in leadership, strategy, or business priorities can be difficult. Because without that sustained commitment, DEI initiatives can lose momentum, leading to cynicism and a return to those old behaviors. So that is our lesson 5.15 on HR equity and diversity, where the objectives were to critically assess and differentiate between common misconceptions and factual concepts regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, in the workplace, and to articulate the essential role of HR in fostering equity and diversity in the workplace.